So for this iteration of my level, as you can see, everything is textured. There's no more orange walls. And then oh, I also changed the texture of the skybox to basically have it fit the theme more of my overall level. It's supposed to be sort of like a cobblestone castle-y uh, map, I guess, or the setting of it is supposed to take place in sort of like a cobblestone medieval place. Um, but aside from those, I also added signs on both for terrorists and CTs that indicate where the bomb sites are. So for terrorists, you have they spawn here, and then the first thing they see are A and B. So if I go to towards B, another sign that indicates where B is, and then this is B site. For A, you have a sign pointing right, and then rather than going here, which is actually the mid area, just go through either of these and they will take you to a site. So that's sort of like, there's like a little market area or store connecting to A, and then this is the underground that leads to A. And then for CTs, I made quite a bit of a change to how the CT layout was, but we'll talk about that a bit later. But in terms of signs, you have A pointing left, and then instead of going there, just walk through here, these two set of rooms, and then you have A site. And then B, again, just follow the signs, and then you have the first sort of passageway to B, and then I guess B long or CT long, where you go up these the stairs, and then you're on B site here. So that's that for signs. And in terms of what I changed, one of the biggest changes was, again, this area here, CT spawn. So before in my gray box, if you recall, I sort of no clipped outside of it, but when a player gets sort of on top over here and then sort of peeks where the CT would come from, they sort of saw it was sort of a really long straightaway from this area all the way to this area. So what I did to try to get around that was basically stretch this block further back so that it's actually blocking, if you were here, it's actually blocking the line of sight for here, and then vice versa as well. Also, in my gray box, I had like a huge ramp going down where it gave the player, whoever was standing on top of the ramp, a really big height advantage to sort of look down at any players coming from mid, rotating here, or CT spawn in general. So what I did was I basically just changed this area here, made it a little small building or hut, whatever you want to call it, where there's an actual ladder here, and then this block here is actually blocking the line of sight. So the only way you can actually see past it is if you jump down. And I wanted to also add this in to basically encourage players to focus their fights around this ladder if they're trying to take control of this. So if I'm a CT or a terrorist and I'm trying to hold this position and I hear an enemy coming from down here, then I can sort of hold the position like this or like this. So play around with the ladder a bit. Let's see. So again, I stretch this block back here, which I also had to move CT spawn a bit back, which isn't really that big of a problem or an issue really. When CT spawn, they sort of have an option to either go right or left, so A or B, and then regardless of where they end up going, you still have those two sort of connecting areas to mid. So if I'm a CT and I went right, I can just go through this building and peek mid here, or if I go left and go through this blue hallway, open the door, and then this is mid area. And again, players can hide behind here if need be. And then going from CT to A, I had this building here before, and then the second, well, not building, room actually, I'm sorry, this first room here, and then this second room here, originally, it was, so the first room was here, and then there was a connecting doorway to the second room, which was actually placed about there, and I decided to move that to here, so now it's sort of like a two straight rooms connected to each other rather than going through here and then turning right to get to the other room. Reason why I did that was because when I had the second room placed here, once the player when they were getting from the second room to A site, there was sort of this really long hallway that they had to walk past, and I just felt that was really tedious and redundant for the players to have to just walk, hold W just to get, to A site. So instead, I moved it here so that, once the players come out here, it's sort of like, it's not as long for them to sort of have to make their way onto A site. They sort of pop out and then they see, the site already. So I added props to all of my rooms so that I don't have empty rooms anymore. Let's see, it's sort of like a reading room. Some props here, some flower pots here, a counter here, and then up here you have, I guess, a storage area with boxes, and then you have the sniper tower here. I guess I can talk about the sniper tower, but let's actually talk about, I did change, let's talk about this area here. So for B site, in my original gray box, I didn't have this and this prop here before. It was just sort of like a small cubby area that players can sort of either just hide here or hide here. I did extend it a bit back so that there's more room for the players to maneuver around if they were hiding here, and then I just added props so that they can be on top of it when hiding here. This area, the standalone wall, I sort of stretched this platform a bit more over so that the players have more room to sort of strafe around. So, oh, another big thing is all my stairs. I added player clips to them, so walking up and down stairs are really smooth. You don't get that sort of camera jitter that goes, or camera bouncing. I also added player clips to props, where I felt that in case players do get stuck, to try to prevent that. So especially for the tree here, there's a player clip here so that players actually don't get stuck, so that they can actually move around the tree. The underground, nothing really changed much about it. You still have this wall in the middle where players can again maneuver around, peek left and right. And then this market or store area, players can hide behind the counter here, use these boxes. So we're just demonstrating possible places that players can be. And then up there. Nothing really changed much about mid. I still really like the open sort of area here that where players take that medium range gunfight. So I have those triple box stacks there for players to hide behind. And then let's talk about the sniper tower. So the sniper tower, again, it was sort of like a big focus of this map where, you know, I wanted players to sort of fight for the sniper tower position so that they can, you know, have that height advantage and sort of have that overview of B site here. So what I changed about the sniper tower was I actually made the texture of the floor of the sniper tower sort of have like a wooden texture to hint to the players that it is spammable. So if somebody was up there and let's see, let's give oops, somebody was up there, I can, you know, try to spam them through it. So you can see my bullets actually do go up here. So, you know, it's not just it's sort of like a high risk high reward thing for a player to be up here. Yeah, they can see you over the map, but they also have to be wary of what's underneath them if there is a player underneath them. So another thing about the sniper tower is after having after getting through some feedback of my level, I had a suggestion where rather than having just one window that players peek through, because it is sort of hard for, say, a CT to, I mean, a terrorist to sort of, like, I guess, peek that sniper tower if there is a person there, because for a person that's, you know, holding this position, it's pretty easy to shoot at the other person that's down there versus a person that's a terrorist that's over here trying to peek this. They can only probably see like the head and maybe a bit of the shoulder of a player up there. So having a player up here like a CT, it's sort of a really overpowered position for the team. So what I did instead was feedback basically suggested adding windows over here so that, you know, before a team decides to go on to B site, they can try to smoke or flash or nade sniper tower in case there's anybody potentially there already. So you know, let's see, give weapon smoke grenade. So, you know, I can, if that lands, oh no. Okay. But basically, if I can throw a smoke grenade up there, then once that pops, then I can sort of enter B site. So that should be smoked off. If there is a person up here, then I would be smoked off here. Obviously, depending on how well the person can smoke off, you know, the top of this, then the vision of whoever's up here would be completely obscured. So again, high risk, high reward sort of issue. Likewise, CTs can also throw smokes up there if there is if they suspect that a terrorist is up there as well. So um but that is basically all the changes that I made. I mean, the general layout of the map remained the same. You still have, you know, the same sort of passageways or pathways that players would take to enter sites, move around the map. Um, Sniper Tower now has windows again. There are player clips on stairs so that, you know, moving up and down stairs are again smooth. And then player clips on props where that can basically, if a player were potentially could get stuck in a corner, try to prevent that. I adjusted the sort of board or plank of this prop here so that it fits. It's not as like, it doesn't lose the immersion of it. It's not just a floating piece of wood. It connects better to the two railings. But yeah, everything's textured again. Skybox is textured, but yeah, that is my map for this iteration. That is.